Hey everyone. You're wondering why I'm dressed like this when it's 90 degrees in the summer in Florida. Well, that's because in this episode of Useful Lessons from Unlikely Places, we are off to the slopes. So I'm going to talk to you about my very first time skiing. Now, I've got to be honest with you, I am not a skier because I have skied exactly 3 times. And all of that has been on the East Coast. And then I know all of you who are skiers are saying, well, if you live in the United States, you've got to go to the West Coast to really appreciate skiing. And that brings us immediately to our first lesson. Sometimes you just have to make the best with what you have. Now, the first time I went skiing, I knew that it was going to be probably a risky thing. I knew it was complex. Now, I'm an athletic person. I've skateboarded, I've ice skated, I've rollerbladed, even ridden a unicycle. But in all those activities, you are aware of gravity, but you really don't spend too much time worrying about it. In skiing, however, when you're heading down a mountain, gravity is a much bigger deal. Because if you should fall, it's going to remind you for quite some time that it's right there with you. And unfortunately, there is nothing you can do about it. Which brings us to our next lesson. Sometimes in life, there will be things that you cannot control. Now, when I knew I was going skiing for the first time, I had an advantage. One of the pilots in my squadron at the time happened to be a ski instructor, so I sought him out. And he taught me some basic skills that I was going to need to survive on the slopes. The first of those was snowplowing, angling your skis so that you push the snow and it helps slow you down. The second, sitting down. Both of these would be useful tools to employ when gravity decided it was going to take control of your activities. And that brings us to our next lesson. Anytime you're going to do something risky, have a plan to do something about that risk. Now, after practicing a little bit on some flat ground, we decided it was time to make our way up to the top of the mountain, which involved getting on something called a ski lift. Now, anyone who's been skiing before knows that the ski lift can be a tricky thing. Now, you look at that and you say, hey, it's not moving that fast. It's a nice wide bench seat. How hard can that be? Well, what you find out is when you are all decked out in your ski gear and wearing your skis, you are neither fast nor agile. So getting on the ski lift chair takes a little bit of timing and a little bit of control. And it's actually a little bit of a challenge to do the first time. So there we go with another lesson. Sometimes in life, the simplest things can be difficult. Well, we finally made it up to the mountain. Well, in that first run, it was just a hill. Got there, got a quick refresher from my instructor, and down we went. And everything worked out fine. Got to the bottom, I actually felt pretty good and decided, hey, maybe I have a knack for this skiing thing. So I was ready to go back again. We joined the larger group and up we went to the next slope. Now, I noticed that the ski lift ride was a little longer this time and we got off in a different place than before. And as we got off the ski lift, I saw that there was a sign that had a black diamond on it. And I'm pretty sure on that first slope, there was either a green sign or a sign with a rabbit of some sort on it. And I looked down the mountain as we got off the ski lift and I realized there was a lot more down than there was on that first hill. I started to get a little bit concerned. I looked over at my instructor and he was reassuring me. He was trying to instill some confidence and say everything was going to be okay. And it dawned on me at that point that my options for getting down the mountain were, well, to be honest, not many. So I pointed my skis down and off we went. And I tried to remember all the things that he taught me. But go to side, back and forth. Maybe that can help slow you down a little bit. But for some reason, all my legs wanted to do was continue to go straight. And every now and then, I would glance quickly over at my instructor. And by the way, how was it that he was able to look so calm, so relaxed, and talk to me in a normal voice as the wind is rushing by and as every time I glanced over towards him, I see the trees going faster and faster in my peripheral vision. And as we started getting down to the bottom of the mountain, I started to try to remember those things he taught me. And I knew there was something about snow cone or snowball or backhoe. And finally it dawned on me, snowplow. So I did that, angled my skis and very, very slowly started to slow down and came to a stop. I looked at my instructor. He was smiling. I was smiling. And then something or someone took control of my brain and I blurted out, "That was awesome." So here's something I learned that day. Sometimes you are going to have to do things that may seem a little bit scary and you may be a little bit fearful. And it's okay. It's okay to face your fears every now and again. And maybe the last important lesson, that last big takeaway from that adventure on the ski slopes was this. Never be afraid to ask for help. Sometimes you need someone who is willing to ski alongside you, encourage you, or maybe even just cheer you on. That brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks for watching, and join me again next time for more useful lessons from unlikely places.